So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to build some shaker style doors, coming up next. So one of the first things that we did when we moved into our home is we painted our cabinets. And when I say that we painted our cabinets, I mean Jessica painted our cabinets because I hate painting. But she painted them in plaster paint, waxed them afterward, and it worked for what we needed at the time. But if you've been following along, you also know that we're remodeling our kitchen. Last week we fixed some unlevel, wonky cabinets. We ripped out our microwave. We built a new cabinet to put in place of that microwave. And so now the next step in that process is figuring out what we're going to do about our cabinet doors. And so instead of just repainting those again, we've decided to go with a shaker style door. And so this is actually a pretty cool way that you can redo your cabinets without like completely gutting all your cabinets and spending thousands of dollars. So this is a shaker style door. It's a 5-piece door. It's composed of a center panel in the middle, and then you've got stiles, and then you've got rails. And just to remember those, think the rails on a fence, they run horizontally. That's how your rails here are going to run. They are connected up and they are joined up with glue. And this is a tongue and groove joint that they meet up in. And then also this panel sits inside of a groove as well all the way around. And so there's no nails, no screws, nothing like that. This is just glue and joinery. So they're a really great door. A really great way to go. So with that in mind, let's get into the video. So to start off with here, we're just using a southern yellow pine to rip down into our rails and stiles. And I'm not using southern yellow pine for any other reason than just honestly, I had some because my dad's got a sawmill. And so yeah, it was just kind of a no-brainer to use that, especially since our cabinets are going to be painted. If you don't have access to that, poplar's another good option you could choose. I will point out though that this is not the same as like a white pine that you would get at like a home center or a Doug fir, something like that. This is actually going to be a little bit stronger and a little bit better in my opinion. So after that, then we're just going to set up and put a stop block on the chop saw and just go to basically batching out our stiles at first, since most of my cabinets are the same height. I've got a couple of oddball ones, but most of them are the same height. And so just going to go to batching out all these pieces here and getting those chopped to lengths. So what we're doing here now is basically I'm going to start putting a groove in the side of these that is going to accept the panel, and it's also going to accept the rails. So as we do this, what you're going to see is you're going to see me run it one time, and then I'm going to flip it over the other way. I'm going to run it one more time. And so long as you take and you center your blade, all you really have to do is just eyeball it, and then you flip it. That auto centers your groove. And I've tried to do this with a dado blade before. It's really hard to get it dead perfect center, and this kind of does it for you, and in my opinion it does a better job. And so the only downside is it is a little more work and it does take longer, because once you do this, odds are great that groove is not going to be wide enough, and so you're going to have to run it. You're going to have to move your fence over just a little bit, and then you're going to have to do it one more time. So it is time consuming, but at the end of the day, I feel like it gives you a cleaner cut. Next up, we are now starting to cut the tongues in these rails. And if you notice, I'm actually not using my fence to do this. I actually decided to try something a little different and use my thin rip jig, bump up against it, and then slide up to the blade. And what I was doing was I actually just used a 1/2 inch dado blade, and I thought, well, since I was using a 1/2 inch tongue, I'll just try using a 1/2-inch blade and make one pass. I don't recommend this. It didn't really work out that well, and honestly, it ended up being that what would happen is that the piece would kind of move a little bit as I moved it forward, and so what I found was when that would happen, it would cause the shoulder to not be exactly perfect, and so in the long run, it actually probably costed me a little bit more than it was honestly worth. So normally I would just say, just use your fence and just bump up against it, and then come back and hit it one more time, and maybe use like a 1/4-inch dado blade and do it that way. Or if you don't have a dado blade, you can do it without, but just make several passes and get it that way, and it'll be more precise, honestly. Today I'm going to start working on the panels for the doors. They're going to be made out of 1/2-inch MDF. I've actually never built a door using 1/2-inch for the panel, but the plan is, when I do that, got one here, to put a rabbet in it, okay? And that basically is going to accept this rail and stile. It'll go together as such, and then when you see it on the front, it's going to be recessed and there'll be a small reveal there. It'll look real nice, but on the back it's going to be flat. When I just mocked up 1 or 2 of those, the first thing I noticed is it gives a good heft to the door, which I think is going to be better for a kitchen. These doors behind me here in my shop, I did with a 1/4-inch panel, and they're pretty light. Honestly, I like the feel of those better. The weight of those, it feels a little more substantial. So that's what we're going to attack now. We're going to start working on these panels and getting those cut out. If you're looking for a pretty good way to break down some sheet goods, this Kreg AccuCut is a pretty good route to go, especially if you're starting out. You can't afford a track saw. One of these days, I'm sure I'll get a track saw, but until then, this works pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's got a track, and then it's got a piece here that you mount on your skill saw, and that helps to just guide that, and it works pretty good. So now I'm going to take these pieces of 1/2-inch MDF, and this is what I'm making my panels out of, so I'm just kind of getting these down to size. In the past, I've always done 1/4-inch material for my panels on a shaker style door. However, I watched a video that James from Stumpy Nubs did, and he was talking about using 1/2-inch panels instead of 1/4, and I thought, I'm gonna give this a try. And if you haven't caught that video, I'm going to link that video in the description. It's a good video talking also about just how to build a shaker style door if you don't have dado blades and fancy rabbeting bits or whatever. So it's definitely a helpful video for that kind of thing. But that's where I got this idea, and as it turns out, I actually think I'm going to like this better. I think that James is right. This is, at least in my opinion, this gives the door just a little more heft, and with a soft close hinge, I think is actually going to be a little bit better. So then after that, I'm hitting this with the router, and this is a rabbeting bit, and that rabbeting bit has a bearing, and pretty much, as you can see right there, that panel is dead perfect. As long as you can keep that router flat and run it around, it's going to be pretty much perfect once you get your bit set and everything ready to go. So we have rails cut, stiles cut, panels cut. The next step is I'm going to go back through. I've got a couple of these toe and groove joints that I'm not super happy with. So I'm probably going to recut a couple of those, and then once those made up the way I want them, glue them up, and they'll be ready for prime and paint. So next up now, I'm going to go ahead and start taking these apart. I had dry fit these together just to make sure I was happy with everything, and how they looked and how they fit. And as it turned out, actually, like I said a minute ago, I wasn't happy with a couple of the joints. So I ended up remaking a couple of those and just kind of getting those a little bit more where I wanted them. And then after I finish that, now we're just going to start the glue up process. And if you don't have a silicone glue brush, I highly recommend one. They're super easy to clean up. And they make a job like this from trying to get this glue and these on this tongue and these joints and stuff. Makes it really handy. And then also this little glue bottle, you can pretty much you can put glue on anything. It doesn't matter if it's vertical or whatever. These are really handy. I'm going to put a link to these in the description below. So doors are finished gluing up, and they are ready for sanding and paint and all of that good stuff. Right now we're going to start the sanding process. I know that's boring, so we're going to speed this up. So that's going to do it for us this week. The doors are built, they're sanded, and they're ready for paint. And that's where we're going to pick up next time. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hopefully this has been helpful. Other than that, be sure and stay tuned. I hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.